They don't always have to be colours, mate. And if you want to be technical, black and white aren't really colours. I forgot what the proper technical name for it is, but there you go. But anyway, we've come to this building here. Oh, you see, when I first talked to that guy, he talked about Wake Up Slap, and I thought, hey, are we gonna get another TM? But no, he's just bragging about it. But yeah, in this building here, we can have a few battles here. Again, I'll be keeping them in if they're significant, or off-screening them if they're not. Oh, thank you, quick balls. Now, I guess the idea behind a quick ball is that if you use it early on in battle, it's more effective. And yeah, in this game they have roaming legendaries, which I'll get more on later, but essentially they're legendaries which run off in battle. So I guess the idea is that you encounter them and you immediately throw a quick ball to capture them right away, which very rarely works. I'm not too keen on quick balls, but like I said, the opposite he gave us, the timer balls, you know, maybe they're a bit more useful, because of course they work the complete opposite way. The longer the battle goes on, the more effective they are. And I guess that's something you should try for legendaries, because anyone who's tried to catch legendaries in Pokemon, yeah, you know it can drag on for a bit. Although on the other hand, in theory they could be over quite quickly. You could encounter a legendary Pokemon, throw a Pokeball, you know, a regular Pokeball, and catch it in the first turn. That is possible. It's a lot less likely, but it is possible. And again, to talk about legendaries for a second, it's always best to induce a negative status like Paralyze and Sleep or Frozen. Maybe not Burn and Poison, because that would drain away their health. Which is, I guess the issue with that is that Pokemon that know sleeping moves aren't too common. Or at least, it's not a status move every other Pokemon knows. It's usually just a select few in each generation, like a few Psychic types. And again, when it comes to negative statuses, I guess it's something I don't really like to depend on. Like Hypnosis, for example, only has 70% accuracy. I don't know why, it's to balance it out. If Hypnosis had a 100% accuracy, it would be broken. Gengars would rule the world. You know, maybe I should have cut that out. I took a trip to the Pokemon Center. But, oh well. But anyway, you can see the old man in the top corner there. We will be battling him very soon. And he'll be showing off a Pokemon which has caused a lot of arguments in this generation, at least. A lot of fan debate. I always like these scientists. At least the female ones. I don't know, I kind of like nerdy girls, I guess. With glasses and the like. Sort of sexy lab assistant. Oh, hello, Mr. Croglanta. Oh, of course I can examine your test tubes. I'm not good at scientific innuendo. Oh, and speaking of these scientists, something I did notice here is that each type of trainer has a different strategy or different personality. Like, for example, this scientist will use attack items. Oh yeah, this was so satisfying. After these fuckers gave me so much trouble in the forest, it's just nice just to punch him with a fire punch. 4 times damage, baby. I love this Pokemon, and it will be really cool to use in the gym battle. And again, to talk about the gym battle of this city, he uses bug types. Unfortunately, I have Jack Black now, so he will be my main tactic against them. And it's at this point that the gym battles get, I would say, easy. And I think that's just because at this point you can get a good variety on your team. And of course they do get harder near the last 2 gyms are harder. Well, I would say the last one is really hard. And here is Trubbish. And a lot of people railed against this Pokemon. It's like, oh look, Pokemon's run out of ideas. They're using garbage as Pokemon. And first of all, in the first gen they had Oil Slick Pokemon, which is even more generic. You know, Muck and Grimer. Are you kidding me? And, you know, I'm someone who loves Gen 1. I still think Gen 1 has some of the best designs, but, you know, please. You know, I'd say Gen 1 and Gen 5 have my favourite designs between the two, if I'm honest. But anyway, here's Trubbish. He's a Poison-type Pokemon, and he's based off Trash. And again, you would think if you have Pokemon based off pollution like Muck and Grimer, having a Trash Bag Pokemon would be obvious. You know, it feels like a Pokemon they should have did some time ago. Now, of course, Poison-type Pokemon, if you don't know, they're weak against Ground and Psychic. Which means, yeah, I don't really have a way to fight this guy. Or at least an effective way. I have to slowly chip away at his health. And I must say, for a little bag of rubbish, he is quite resilient. Although, even though I praised this Pokemon before, I must say I'm not too keen on his evolution, Garbodor, which we will see later on. And I think that's just because Garbodor looks weird. He looks like a Lovecraftian abomination, to say the least. And of course I'm using Brookout because he's the only one that knows a ground move. And it also lowers his accuracy, so points for me. Okay, now it's time to take out the trash. Oh bloody! Yeah, and I think that move has low accuracy too. So I hate low accuracy. It's one of the things when it comes to Pokemon I just don't bother with. Now, if you've got a powerful move and it has low accuracy, I don't want to know. Like, actually, I remember in Gen 1. The move Thunder, which was a really powerful electric move, it had an accuracy of, I think it was 85, but now they've lowered it to 80. And sorry, I'm not too sure. But the point is, they lowered the accuracy, and the move Thunder just isn't as good as isn't good anymore. Unless, of course, you team it up with the move Rain Dance, because when it's rainy, Thunder's accuracy goes back up to 100%. But, you know, we're going on to look sort of post-game meta team tactics and the like. And unfortunately, this guy, Snivy here, I'm reluctant to use him against the gym battle because obviously he's a grass type and we're fighting bug types. Well, I was saying that if you know the Pokemon this guy uses, a grass type wouldn't necessarily be that bad. And we have this normal Pokemon here, based off a mink. So, yeah, quite adorable. Now, you would think by Gen 5 they'll be running out of cute, furry Pokemon to make they'll be running out of cute, furry animals to make Pokemon out of. But it doesn't seem there doesn't seem to be any sign of them running out. You know, we've got Squirrel Pokemon, Ferret Pokemon, Mink Pokemon like this guy. And here we have the move Mega Drain. Yeah, I suppose he's alright. I think Leech Seed is more useful as a move, if I'm honest. That when it comes to these healing moves, where you attack an enemy and you get health back, I've never been too happy about them. And I think that's just because they don't seem to be that effective. You don't seem to get that much health back. But then again, I suppose there's other ways you can use that move. Oh, and here we have the experience share item. Now, the experience share, if you give that to a Pokemon, even if it's not battling, it gains experience from a fight. So it's very useful. You can just give that to like one of your weaker Pokemon, and you don't have to worry about using it. You know, that would have been useful if we had a Magikarp on us. I do remember in the first gen they had an item called Experience All, and it was an item you had in your bag, and whenever you fought a battle, it would divide the experience equally between all 6 members of your party. And honestly, I kind of liked that item. I think the reason they took it out, obviously, was the fact that, yeah, each time you win a battle, you get 6 messages saying, you know, this guy got experience, this guy got experience, and it did drag out the battling process. But I like the experience all. But anyway, by walking up this dark alley, which, I must say, Pokemon, this is a very irresponsible message. You're telling kids that if you walk up a dark alley, you'll be rewarded. But nevertheless, we get the TM Flash, which of course we all know was a HM in the first gen. It was used to light up dark places, which you can still use it again in this gen, which I do later on, and it is worth getting at least. Well, something I know about speedrunners is that they essentially memorise the layout of all the caverns, so they can go through them without using any flash TMs or HMs. A good speedrunning trick, I must say. But anyway, here we have a cool coffee shop. Because it's based off New York, you know, maybe we'll bump into the cast of Friends. But anyway, I'm not sure what the point of that coffee shop is, just to get the odd drinking item, but yeah, I think it's a nice touch at least. Since it's based off New York, it's going for a sort of bohemian artist, you know, cool cats. You know, do a little scat jazz Pokemon. Scooby bop 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 Pokemon. It's cool. It's cool, Daddy-o. I hope you can hear this clicking I'm doing. I can't click. I'm not really good at clicking. If you could see the hand action I'm trying to do, you'll be very amused. Ha! Visual jokes on a commentary. Oh, there we go. I'm doing it finally. Click. But anyway, you talk to the trio of dancers here, and you'll get an amulet coin. Now, of course, this item, when once placed on a Pokemon, if that Pokemon participates in the battle, you get an extra bonus on your money. And I'll say it's not that good. You know, the amount of money you get is very little. It's not really, it's not really good for grinding money. You're probably better off putting on a battling item. Then, honestly, when it comes to Pokemon, the only time you need money, really, and that's only if you really, really want it, is when you want to buy a Pokemon from like a coin bonus shop, like in the first gen. I mean, granted, now you can play the slots for hours to get the coins to like buy a Porygon or a Dratini, but you know, nuts to that. I remember in the first gen when I completed the game, I would just beat the Elite Four over and over again to get money, and really that was the quickest way to do it. And then just buy the special game coins I needed to get the Dratini or whatever. Now here we have an art gallery. Talk to the guy, you know, it's something about a contest or whatever. Again, I don't really... The whole contest mechanic, which was introduced in Gen 4, doesn't really do it for me. I'm not really bothered about it, really. Now, this gen also has like a musical thing, which we will be showing off later on, because I found it hilarious. The whole Pokemon musical. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's in the next city. Thanks for that. I must say, to be honest, the NPCs in Pokemon aren't the most interesting people. But there you go. Now what am I doing here? Oh yes, I was going to visit this part of the dock. Now, before I said that this game does have a cruise ship, but again, we'll be seeing that when we get into the post-game. And it is a really nice part of the game. You get to, you know, go on the cruise ship, have some battles, but also just enjoy the view as it sails around the city. You know, it's 3D and the like. Sometimes whatever. Oh, and now this part here. Now, before I said if you had a Pansage or a Panpour, they evolve with elemental stones. You know, the water, grass, and fire stone, respectively, or whatever. And this guy will give you one of them. Now, if you're playing Pokemon Black and White 2, you can also get an Eevee. So hopefully you could use that to evolve your Eevee, if you wanted to. Now, I do pick up the Water Stone, but like I said, I do have other water types in mind, so you won't see that much of Jason Gordon-Levitt. But like saying that, he does pop up at the near end of the game, because essentially there are other water HMs in this game. And so he shows up just to use Waterfall, essentially. Waterfall and Dive.